Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist in the state of California. Been in practice here for over 46 years. The title of today's presentation is Narcissism, Greatness, and Depression. Narcissism, Greatness, and Depression. Now, every one of you has met a narcissist, probably multiple narcissists. Very difficult people to get along with. And I'm going to talk about how to approach them. And some of you watching might have some of the characteristics. I know when I was younger I did, but I wasn't a full-blown disorder, thank God. So narcissist, when I talk about narcissistic personality disorder, which is really extreme, we're talking about the narcissistic tendencies that people have. Now, the word narcissism comes from Narcissus. He was a mythical character in Greek mythology. He looked into the water. He was a young man, a handsome young man. He looked into the water and saw a reflection of himself, and he fell in love with himself. So that's where the term narcissism came from. Now, I'm going to give you some of the characteristics of a narcissist. To a narcissist, you only exist for one reason. That is to serve their needs. You have no other reality, no other basis to even be on the planet other than serve their needs. That's a true narcissist. And they feel superior, they feel entitled, there's a certain arrogance. And because they feel entitled and so superior, they can't take no for an answer. They go to a rage, what's called a narcissistic rage. We're going to talk about narcissistic rage and we're going to talk about narcissistic rivalries. Go to a rage, can't take no, and can't take losing. A lot of these people are very successful. They're winners in business, in politics, in warfare, as athletes. They're winners because they can't tolerate losing. So we've had political leaders who are very powerful who are narcissists, but they got a lot done because they thought the world revolved around them. And if you say anything that they can feel diminished, they'll take it personally. It's not just how you are or how you talk. You did it to them. If they didn't get the mail on time, it could be, this is personal. You had to cut in front of him because you got to get an exit. You did it to him. And he'll go into a road rage reaction. He'll get really enraged because he'll take it personally. You disrespected him. He'll take it personally. Whereas you might just not have seen him. You might have to rush into an exit. Whatever it is, he'll take it personally. And he might even stalk you. That's how serious the narcissistic mentality is, taking it personally. So you have, now the other part of it is they can never be wrong. I mean, they regard themselves as perfect, which means they can't apologize. So they blame everybody. Anything that goes wrong in their lives, they will blame you, they'll blame somebody, but it's never them because they're perfect. So you can't have, they will turn anything. If you try to talk to them in a reasonable way, they will turn it against you. You will lose. You will not win an argument with a narcissist. Impossible. Now, typically goes with that is that they're very suspicious people. They're kind of paranoid because they don't want to be made a fool of. Because if they got taken advantage of, then they're a fool, and that can't be because they're so great, so perfect. So they're very suspicious, paranoid. They don't trust really because they can't allow themselves to be overpowered, taken advantage of, or exploited. Any of that, it'll set off a narcissistic rage. So then they feel entitled, but these are people who want a lot of admiration. I mean, a lot of, they just want to be admired. And they have a lot of fantasies and thoughts of being admired for their looks, being admired for their athletic prowess, their business prowess, political prowess, intelligence, spirituality, whatever. They have a lot of fantasies about being admired and practically worshipped. So you have a narcissistic blow, a narcissistic insult. If you go against any of those factors, you defeat that person, you say something that would be taken as a criticism, that will set off a narcissistic injury, a narcissistic wound, and they'll go into a narcissistic rage. They will go into a rage. They will overreact over small things. So that's the difficult side. And this is, these people are, they have to win. That's why some of the biggest winners in the political realm or in warfare or sports, actors and actresses, they have to win. They really cannot tolerate losing. Why? Because they're perfect, they're greater than everybody. It's impossible to take that. So now if they have some good values or they aspire to some good values, they can do some good things when they're in power. If they're in a powerful position in a business or in a country, if they're running a country, they can accomplish some good things. That kind of inflated ego, that narcissistic way of being. Now, narcissists, when they don't get what they want or they feel insulted, they can go into a depression. Or if they lose a game, they get very, very depressed because they can't integrate. How could you, who are much less than them, defeat them? How can you make more money than them? As a matter of fact, to a narcissist, your achievements make him feel less. So that leads to narcissistic rivalry. He has to defeat you in everything. He's in competition with everybody. Why? Because your achievements, he feels less because of your achievements. He can't rejoice for you in your achievements. Because why? Because he's going to feel less than you. He can't tolerate that. So your achievement is a threat to him. He will not rejoice in your victories. That's the nature of the narcissist. Powerful competitors, they have to win. Difficult to be in a relationship with. Some of you might have friends that are narcissists, parents, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend. They're human beings. They can be lovely people, particularly when things are going their way. When things are not going their way, very difficult. They can go into depression or they can be easily triggered into rages. And even if that person, let's say, has a son or a daughter and that person's not doing as well as his friend's son or daughter, that son represents him or that daughter represents him, his blood, that could also, the rivalry, the narcissistic rivalry extends there. He can't tolerate your son winning a game against him. He just can't tolerate defeat, and now he's vulnerable through his son or through his daughter, or he or she didn't get into a top school, and your son or daughter did. That's intolerable. So, they must have paid somebody off. They knew somebody. They will dismiss your successes. Oh, he got into Harvard. My son couldn't get in. Listen, he's taking a really easy major, or he must have paid somebody off, or maybe because of my race or my religion or whatever, or my ethnicity, that's why I couldn't get in, and this person, his son, got in. You have to understand, you've met these people, and again, some of you watching this might even have some of this. Now, typically, a person who's narcissistic can say, you know what, yeah, I do have some of these traits, I want to work on them. It doesn't happen. Because why? Because they're great. How can I be a narcissist and have these limitations? So it's pretty hard for a narcissist, a true narcissist. You might have you or me or some of us might have some narcissistic tendencies at different times in our life, but this is a real true narcissist. So how do we deal with a narcissist? You may have to deal with them in business. You may have to deal with it in your family. Well, you don't want to be walking on eggshells. You certainly want to deal honorably with them. You want to deal honorably with them. You want to wish them well. You may not want to be enabling them and always praising them, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they're still going to feel this anyway. You don't have to worry about enabling their narcissism. If you're not feeding them enough, they'll find somebody else who will feed them. They will find people who will feed them and adore them and worship them. It's kind of like being a God figure in a way. So they cannot submit. They cannot bow down. Because They're all knowing, and they know everything. These people also know everything. And certainly know more than you, certainly know more than me. And it's certainly, and then any good thing that happens around them, they want to take credit for it because of them. If they didn't do something directly, it was just their presence helped create that. This is it. So you have to wish them well. And the best way to be with a narcissist, if you're in a situation where that's your situation, because you have a parent or colleague or spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, you want to follow the path of honor, the 4 commandments of honor, the bridge, the supremacy of honor code. Now, the supremacy of honor code is really aimed at overcoming our own narcissistic tendencies. Again, a full-blown narcissist is not going to be able to do this. But the supremacy of honor code, which is to become a devotee of honor, is this: honor before pride. That's the first of supremacy of honor code, which is impossible for a full-blown narcissist to do. Honor before pride, honor before anger, honor before sex, honor before money, honor before fear, honor before everything, honor before life itself. So for those of us who have had or have narcissistic tendencies and want to deal with it, following the path of honor will take you beyond it. It really will. Now, expecting somebody else to you to bring it to somebody who's already a narcissist, it's not going to happen. So your great struggle in dealing with a narcissist is going to be your ego. That person is going to set off your ego left and right because you're going to feel demeaned. They carry themselves with some arrogance. Yeah, you're going to have to deal with yourself. You're going to have to put honor before your own pride to deal with them. And if you're in a relationship with them, they cannot apologize. So as a disciple of honor or a devotee of honor, again, I've given hundreds and hundreds of lectures on the honor system, devotees of honor, and disciples of honor, and the bridge, and so forth. So you have to find how you can apologize legitimately. You say, well, I co-created this. I can see that you're upset. I co-created by this. I apologize. Please forgive me. And then they'll say, okay, maybe they'll forgive you. Maybe they won't. But okay, I'll forgive you. But do not expect them to be able to do it. Absolutely, they will. They cannot do it. But you can deal with it honorably. You take care of your end, and you go your distance, and that's all you can do. So again, this is to you have to look for how you can apologize if you want to have a harmonious relationship, something like that. It's difficult. Now, there are periods of time you can have a narcissist who can be just really lovely for long periods, extended periods of time. That's the good thing. But eventually, if they get triggered into it and they're having episodes of narcissism, most of the time it's not full-blown all the time. But you'll get an episode, it's been triggered because they're feeling demeaned. Then anything, you've known people who everything is a slight, everything's an insult. Right? They're upset with this one and that one and this one because this one said that one said this. It is very hard for them to get past it. One of the ways that a narcissist gets past these insults we take as a narcissistic blow is to give it back to the other person. They don't have any way to work it through because they can't take responsibility that they co-created it. So they stick it to the other person. They might insult the other person, put him down, or put her down, and that way they feel redeemed. Unfortunately, they don't have other ways of working through the issues. Now, what you need to know is we can't judge the person, anybody. We don't know the person well enough to judge them. Only God, for those of us who believe in God, only God knows them well enough to judge them. We can't judge them. We can just say, this is tough on me. I get hurt, I get humiliated. It's hard to talk to this person. I love this person. You can love a narcissist. And they can love you. It's not like they can't love. They're capable of it. In some sense, you become an extension of them is how that happens. Well, so again, narcissism, greatness, and depression. They tend to be many winners, or not all. So we have many winners who are not narcissists, but they're driven to be a winner. So you'll see great leaders at all fields, strong narcissistic tendencies. And also they go into depressions when they can't control. Now, the ultimate thing for a narcissist is to be in control. They have to feel in control. And if they can't control the situation, they may pull out and go somewhere where they can. It's very tough to take it when they can't control. When they're in control, they feel powerful, and they'll be in a better mood. When they're not in control, they're going to be depressed. They're going to be depressed. When they're feeling powerless, they're going to be depressed. And we all go through periods when we're just powerless to handle something. But the narcissist did not choose to be that way. He or she did not choose to be that way. Most likely, one or both of the parents. And usually it's developed in before adulthood, sometime before they become adults. There's signs there that's already there. And your only way to deal with them is following the path of honor. There is no other way. Or either that or stay away from them. If you stay away from them and not have them in your life, that's one way. But a lot of times that's not possible. So then I'm giving you ways to deal with it. And I'm giving you ways to deal with any of your own narcissistic tendencies. Well, it's been my pleasure to be able to present this to you. Narcissism, greatness, and depression. I'm going to turn it over to ask, Jay, does this ring a bell for anybody you know?
Yes, matter of fact, you and I talked about this with my grandchildren's stepdad. For 2 years, it affected my relationship with him or with my grandkids because he's such a narcissist, and you suggested that I just apologize to him. And ever since then, no issues.
Wow.
So
the apology, yeah.
He just needed to hear that he was greater.
Yes. Yes. And you're big enough and strong enough to take that.
And at the expense of not having a relationship with my grandchildren, I felt that was the right thing to do.
It was the honorable thing to do. It was the right thing to do. It was right for you and for your grandchildren. They need their grandfather. So you're saying you were okay with his feeling superior to you. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's what it takes. You have to be okay with the person feeling superior. I feel superior. Well, go ahead and feel superior. Knock yourself out.
By the means.
Yeah. You have to be pretty secure in your own identity.
Far more.
What's that?
I said what I gained.
Oh, you gained a lot. And
a lot more than I gave up.
And the other part of the message, you gained more than you gave up. The other part of the message is that you were okay with his feeling superior.
Correct.
He needed to feel superior. You don't need to feel superior. You're more secure in your identity.
I'm okay with who I am.
You're okay with who you are. He's got to feel superior, so you let him have that superiority.
And it's definitely worked. I mean, we had the kids, recently, and we talk to them every week. So.
Well, I'm really proud of you that you went and apologized. That's the honorable thing to do.
I wouldn't have done it before the program, Doctor.
No, before I understand the way of honor has taken us to many great things in our lives. You and me both. I'll tell you that. Jay, this is a wonderful comment you made. A wonderful contribution. I'm grateful. We're all grateful to hear your thoughts. All right, I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. Been a licensed clinical psychologist for over 46 years. I've walked upon this earth for over 80 years. And it's been my pleasure and truly my privilege and my enjoyment to have this time with you to bring you narcissism, greatness, and depression.